Welcome back, everyone. I'm the Depressed Dior, and this is Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 18. Alright, so, this is after placement matches. I had 4 losses and 1 win. Mainly, I fought only the first 2 matches, the second one being a victory, if you saw the previous video. And then I kind of looked at the box, and if it was a meta box, I kind of just said, nope, I'm not going to deal with it. My goal was just to be Silver 3 and just call it a good, have my win for the week and be good to go. But there was a little bit of a snag in that plan. I had my win for the week, but I actually did not start in Silver 3 once I did my placement matches. I started in Bronze 1. And I believe I mentioned in the previous video, Bronze 1 doesn't even get you crystals or SSR enchants. So I wanted to remedy that. So with that, I did a few more matches and we got this one. So I'm playing as player 2 this time. No changes to the box. This box that we're up against, we get to see some faces we've never seen before. I believe this character here is Gun, and I have no idea what he does. The only time I even touched this character was on his banner little thing to get the crystals from his stage or whatever. But yeah, we get to see some faces we haven't seen in a while. We got Warner here. We got, I believe this was Rodham. We don't see Epsilon too often either, and the rest of these are pretty standard. There are 1, 2, 3 tanks and 2 healers. Alright, so as an opener, my biggest concern was Act Agains at this point. So I went ahead and immediately got rid of S18. They get rid of my Isolde. And they take Rose and Seal. So at this point I get rid of their assassins. And I grab Silvaria. Player 2, Silvaria can be a bit more difficult, especially if you don't have Act Agains. I lose Grin Shield, I lose Awakened 1, and they grab their Grin Shield. Which I'm kind of okay with, because she's Flyer. Alright, so at this point I was like, alright, let's get rid of Asmodai, or, oh, is it not Asmodai? Is it Asmodai? Let me find out. Not sure why I keep calling him Asmodai. It's Apotheosis. So I get rid of Apotheosis, get rid of Sword and Light and Shadow. The rest of this box is not too dangerous. Probably the SP Bernhardt's probably the biggest threat. Warner can be dangerous because he can actually have infinite range counterattack. So that's a thing. Grab Eshian at this point because they haven't banned any of my healers. They didn't ban Eshian. They get rid of Ice Melda, they get rid of Nemia, and they grab Gun. No clue what he does. So I'll get rid of Bernhardt, get rid of Hilda, mainly just because Hilda can negate crits. And I grab Liana. So now I have 2 Act Agains and a Silvaria. They get rid of 2 of my tanks at this point. And they grab Lightbringer. So my choices are Christiane or Freya. Christiane would be better for faction buffs because she could faction buff both Eshian and Liana. And Freya would be kind of better if for doing fixed damage if my opponent happens to be vulnerable to it. Which if people are using butterflies now, they will actually be able to take fixed damage. They grab Lightbringer for a tank, by the way. Oh, the other reason why I banned Hilda was to bring it down to 2 tanks and force my opponent to pick one. At this point, I go ahead and get rid of Warner, get rid of Liana, and I grab Christiane. And at this point, they go ahead and get rid of Elmeta, they get rid of Lycoris. And this is one of the rare times where I actually have Rose and Seal as a final pick, but I don't really need the healing. The only AoE here is going to be Leon. So I grab Freya. Freya is actually, having 2 tanks is actually a pretty good counter against Grin Shield here. Because obviously she can negate guard with her shield. Also, it's kind of nice to have 3 characters with butterflies. So, got Rose and Seal here. It's just all heals with Fighting Monks. Gun, what the hell do you do? He has increased damage. It looks like he's 6 stars. After battle, he'll recover 30% of damage dealt, so he kind of has a lifesteal thing going on. He begins with Might of the Moon, which gives him +2 mobility, and does not die upon taking fatal damage. Instead, he'll recover 20% and become Lone Wolf's Revenge. When initiating battle, this hero gains 1 additional attack, cannot be a counterattack, and reflect damage taken decreases by 100%. Cannot receive healing from other allies. And after taking action, if this unit is not below 80% HP, this effect is removed, and this unit gains Might of the Moon Wolf. Each time Lone Wolf's Revenge is removed, the healing effect is reduced by 30%. It can be stacked. So he has a way of kind of consistently reviving again and again. His passive, Fearless, when Might of the Moon is active, all passable terrain is treated as plains, and if he's in Lone Wolf's Revenge state, he ignores class disadvantage. Okay. Soul Crushing Howl. 1 range, 4 cooldown. Passive, when entering battle with a normal attack, all skill cooldowns decrease by 1. After a single attacks a single enemy 1.8 times, dispels 5 buffs. After battle, deal fixed damage equal to 25% of the HP lost, and gains command. All enemies within 2 blocks suffer reduced mobility according to the amount of HP lost. The lower their HP, the more their mobility is debuffed. And then he has Lupine Shadow Strike, which is 4 range, and essentially teleports him within 1 block and deals 1.5 times damage. There's no enemy units within 1 block of the target. The enemy is stunned for 1 turn. Okay. That was a lot to go over. Alright, Grin Shield, we already know about. Cold Shield, 3C, Air Slash with War Falcons, pretty standard kit. We got Lightbringer here with Magic Defense Support, which I'm pretty sure is just around for the stun immunity. Which I do have someone that can stun, which is S18. Which, honestly, again, it's kind of redundant because you have Rosenseal. Besides that, the rest of it's pretty standard. Discipline with 3C with Holy Guard Mages. We got Leon here with Cavaliers of Flame. And he has his passive, Chivalry, and Blue Dragon Strike. Alright. Over here we got Freya. I know people in the previous season were constantly asking me why I was using the Whiplash thing, or Rose Whip, or whatever it's called, which was pretty, good question. So I swapped it out for Heavy Shield. So 3C, Crystal Spike, and then Heavy Shield. So there's a 25% chance you can reduce damage taken in a melee strike by 50%. Unfortunately, it doesn't trigger often, but when it does make a difference. Unfortunately, my track record has not been great with it since I've swapped over. Besides that, Redeemers, pretty standard stuff. We've got Eshian here, all for exclusives with Star Prismas. Sylvaria, it's same stuff as before. Deck Gunners with her usual kit of 3C, Disarm, and Sneak. Liana, standard kit, Windbloom Chanter, Heal, 3C, Act Again. And then Christiane, standard kit of pretty much all of her exclusives, Flower Formation, Floral Realm, and 3C with Phalanx Guards. Alright, let's do this. So my opponent is pushing forward rather aggressively. And my biggest concern is getting a little too close. Obviously we got Leon there who can cover ground pretty well. He's not using bikes or hover bikes, so we don't have to worry about that nonsense at the very least. But he can pretty much reach me by round 2 pretty easily. So I go ahead and push forward. At this point, I am 9 spaces away from Rosenseal, which I was kind of okay with. That gave me something to work with, and I do have 2 Act Against to kind of adjust from there. So I go ahead and push forward. Act Again, I do have her exclusive to provide a buff for the Act Again as well. Alright. Grin Shield moving forward. And Rosenseal's mixed class, so Twilight Star works. Didn't crit, but did enough damage. Alright, there's our exclusive proccing, not a big deal. Gun has actually a lot of buffs right now, by the way. I'll point that out. So obviously there's the faction buff, and then plus 10% skill damage, plus 10% normal attack, and then plus 20% hero damage. So he actually packed a wall up here. As for Grin Shield here, Grin Shield could throw a shield pretty far. It's 3 spaces, and it can't go on top of somebody. So right now I'm pretty safe from any sort of shenanigans from that. Alright, teleport in. Reflect damage. Rose Queen. Divine Strike. He'll heal some damage, and then I do all sorts of fixed damage. I was tempted to move up and see if I could just finish him off, but he does have that self-res, so I kind of played it pretty safe here. I go ahead and do Blessing of Seborek so I can heal Freya back to full. Alright, so he falls back. I did pass turn in place. For the most part, I'm keeping my formation as is. The only bad part right now is if I move Savaria, Grinshield can throw the shield right between both my tanks. So I'm kind of playing it very slow. The good news is I outnumber my opponent, so I can kind of just pass my turns until I get to a position where I can actually do what I need to do. Alright, I go ahead and do 3C to Savaria since her buffs are going to wear off soon anyway. Alright, so we have a few targets we can play around with. The one I'm really interested in is getting rid of Grinshield. Let's see. Right now we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces away. So as long as I move 3 away, I should be in good shape. Oh, got in range of Silvaria's passive there. So I did kind of make a mistake here. Instead of moving to where she is right now, I should have just moved up to here. And that would still put me 9 spaces away, and I would still be in guard range. But I didn't do that, so Silvaria is actually exposed right now. So at this point, I'm trying to see if I can take out Grinshield, which is... She does have her shield up, so she's at 100% life, so last rites and all that still applies. But I crit, and I do just enough damage. So if it wasn't a crit, there's a good chance that it wasn't going to be enough. So yeah, my opponent's going to try to take out Silvaria at this point. At this point, I'm not too worried about it. Like I said, I should have positioned better. And then I'm going to get hit with this, which is going to do some fixed damage. And then we'll get shuffled, which actually puts us all the way to the back, which is completely fine by me. So I go ahead and move up and attack. Unfortunately, Christian doesn't attack particularly well. So good news is I did proc her Effulgence, and so that gave her first strike on counterattack. So I didn't have to worry about Gun actually killing anyone. So he lost a life, and now I can just finish him off. So doing 3C here, mainly just so I can move again afterwards. Because I believe Christian's guard is down because of the 5 dispels. Yeah, I was hoping to try to get rid of Leon as well, but there's no real point in me rushing at this point. If you look real quick, all of Leon's stuff is on cooldown. And Lightbringer by herself isn't really going to do anything. She's a little annoying because she's right now providing passive healing to Leon, but that's completely fine by me. So yeah, my opponent falls back, puts out a bunch of terrain. Decides to attack Freya. Have fun with that. I already took out 31% of her life with fixed damage. Yeah, as you can see, it just adds up real quick. Alright, Rainbow Sparkle, just cycling cooldowns and buffs and things like that. So 3C here. I only had 1 stack, so there was no attempts at stunning, and she has 5 crystal barriers anyway. So I'm really just taking out her life. Yeah, as you can see, my opponent doesn't really have an answer. They don't have any. They have only some passive healing. All of their main attacks are on cooldown now, but that's still not going to stop them from trying. Oh, I got a shield proc here. Still does quite a bit of damage. Yeah, does a bunch of fixed damage with the train there. Procced all my butterflies. Did a regular attack, and that was enough to kill Lightbringer, and as you can see, the match is over at this point. So yeah, pretty fun. Honestly, it could have been cleaner if I had better positioned Sylvaria. That being said, at that point, it would have been pretty chaotic with the shuffling thanks to Leon there, but even then, I wasn't really in any danger. Besides, Eshin wanted some kills anyway. Alright, so with that, I'll call it here. I am the Depressed Theodore. This was Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 18, and I'll see you guys next time.